Is it recording now?
It is. This is my sister Shay. We are on the way. I was telling y'all earlier in the week that we have the coronation for the new queen for Miss Southern for Southern University. And as a former Miss Southern University, I will be going to help crown the queen. So we're gonna bring y'all with us, and I also wanted y'all to meet Shay. So hey girl.
Hey y'all.
I gotta stop doing that like retarded laugh at the end.
The little fake laugh.
It's so fake.
It's giving very cutesy, very demure, very modest.
It's very modest. Ladies, you can be beautiful without showing your body.
Like,
Shay got the silk.
and it's okay. It's sleeveless,
Go
but
with your little silk.
we can be cute. We can be covered.
Cute and covered.
Okay.
Come on. Cute, covered, and modest, y'all. How long have you been saved, Shay?
It has been 4 years. It'll be 5 in February.
So she gave her life to God 5 years ago. So y'all come see. Come here. Not only is she saved and beautiful, she is keeping herself from marriage. She ain't out here just dating. Shay is the prime example of a woman of God who in her singleness still got it together. Do you hear me? We ain't trying to convert nobody. We need him to already be converted and loving the Lord when he shows up. Do you hear me?
Already. The same way that I'm living for God, saving myself. They got the male version out there.
Yes.
So I'm gonna wait on him. I'm gonna patiently wait on him. Y'all. In God. Not just single. And talking to whoever we want to talk to and dating how we want to date. No, we're talking about single and God, not dating. I'm talking about 0 dates within the past. It literally would be 5 years that I have been single in January. People glamorize being single to do whatever you want to do, relaxing and focusing on yourself. I literally was able to finish my degree. Didn't think that I was going to go to college, first of all. No one in my family went to school. Now work at a college, working on my master's, and then hopefully can go further past that. It took me stepping back and focusing on myself with the help of God and really just like honing in on being alone. I shed a few tears, yes, but in the midst of all of that, it's so worth the wait because I know that God has someone who is perfectly for me, someone who will be on the same mindset as me, someone who won't disrespect me, who won't belittle me, who will not lie to me, will not be secretly cheating on me. Like, all of these things happened when I was living out there. Now being in God, it's like I don't have to worry about those things. I don't have to worry about going through somebody's phone at night because I see that you started following somebody new, you know, like, and then actually finding things. Someone who has the same mind as me in God will value the woman of God that I am, the way that I'm upholding myself, keeping myself in him. I know that he's doing the same thing for me. This type of woman not just giving herself over to anyone. And y'all, I'm young. Hey, I'm 27. People think this is their prime, and it is my prime.
Come on.
My prime in God.
Hallelujah.
You don't need the man to pay your bills. You don't need for him to buy you all the cute things, the YSL, the Dior, the Chanel.
I mean, it sounds like a testimony, sis.
I had the relationship. I didn't have to pay any bills. I was getting anything I wanted. At the end of the day, I locking myself in the bathroom to cry. I was living with somebody I wasn't married to. We were doing everything that a married couple does without the ring. I want y'all to live the life that I live because it's so enjoyable.
You just gotta wanna do it.
You gotta wanna do it.
You gotta suffer in the flesh to cease from sin.
Suffer.
Like, suffer is not a joke. To suffer literally means to feel the pain and agony of something that is hurting you. It hurts to stop sinning, especially when you're so used to it. It hurts because your flesh literally craves it, and you gotta suffer and feel the pain of your flesh crying for this thing it's accustomed to. Not give into it. And that has to happen continuously in order for you to die out in that area. If you have a made up mind, there's nothing in the world that can stand between you and the life that God has for you. And some of us are shortchanging ourselves with the blessings of God or from the blessings of God because we can't endure a little bit of suffering to get what it is that he has for us. Shay could easily just go back to the world, start doing her own thing, easily have a man that'll take care of her and all the things that she was doing before. But she chooses the joy, peace in God. She chooses the contentment in God because ain't nobody got time to be playing those kind of games and risking their life playing with these people that's not saved. No.
Just because I live for God doesn't mean people not gonna try it.
Oh, that's the adulterous hunt for the precious soul. They come for you. They're gonna come for y'all, the women of God. They're gonna be after all the ones that, I'm waiting until marriage. I'm gonna practice abstinence. Now they coming for you. They want you, the precious one that's keeping herself. You are now the challenge. So now you are now the trophy if you fall for some foolishness. Don't let nobody get you out of God with their mouth. A mouthpiece. Nobody got a mouthpiece cold enough to be able to snatch you out of the hands of God. But y'all better be praying and fasting, because otherwise, if you're not praying and fasting, your spiritual man is weak. Your fleshly man is strong. That's how you got to look at it. Just like we go to the gym, go to Pilates, do cycling to keep our physical body in shape. If you're not praying, fasting, reading your word, your spiritual man is weak. And you ain't going to be able to stand up against temptation. Not time and time again. You better get a prayer life for real. And not just against men, but against all the other temptations that's out here that's trying to stop us from being virtuous, holy women of God. And more so, y'all know I talk about it on this channel, more so the things that are warring in yourself that other people can't see. It ain't on somebody else, or it ain't on some man if he come and can talk to you. Not if you got lust in you. Only time will reveal that. You gotta notice the lust in you. Oh, you kind of like when people slide in your DM. Oh, you kind of like when people give you compliments. Or you kind of like when people whistle at you. That's a you problem. You have to now identify that, take that to God, and that's got to be now the enemy that you identify. On my fast, God, you got to kill this. On my fast, God, you got to strengthen me to not like these things. I'm telling you. Listen. I used to like when people to show me attention because I knew I wasn't going to give them the time of the day. But I liked for somebody to do those little things to let me know that I look good.
Right.
I prayed to not like that junk. Because what kind of woman do you think I am?
Right.
So now somebody do something crazy like that and I'm looking like, bro, who are you talking to? Like, you got to know that I'm a woman of God. You got to stop playing with me. And now it's insulting. But that comes along with you knowing what's inside of you. Nothing external can take you to hell, and I've told y'all that before. It's everything that's in us that we gotta identify that's not like God. All right, I'm done.
That's so good. It's so good though, because like I'm sitting here and thinking like, wait, I did kind of get the butterflies.
Exactly.
But then I had to take a step back, like, wait, why am I liking that?
Exactly.
What is it about this person?
Exactly.
Hold on.
Exactly.
Hold up. My head getting a little big, and I'm like, oh, I look good.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm saying no. But
you like how it made you
I like
feel.
how it make me feel. Until one day it was like, wait a minute, I can't keep liking this. There were people who tried it where it was like, okay, that's an easy no. Like, what made you think that? And I don't think I'm much. But then there have been some people who have tried it.
Some dangerous devils.
A handsome
devil. That's what I used to say.
Lord.
Get away from them handsome devils.
I'm talking about prestigious careers. There may be doctors, lawyers, people up there. Look, might look good on the outside,
but if you saw that spirit, a demon. We made it. I'm excited. I have not been back to Southern. Oh my God, it has been like a long time for real. Modest girls. Modest girls.
Mikey George, 2008, 2009.
You see the sweater on my boat, but look today I won't be agitated. Promised I would trust you even through this storm. Now it's time to prove that I meant it. Ooh la la, I would keep keep my eyes on the blue sky. Fingers on the strings and find a new rhyme. I know it's not much, but it feels right. Oh, no, no, I haven't forgot what you've done for me. Always taking care of my every need. You do what you say what you mean. Jesus, as long as I'm breathing, I'll praise your name.
Good job, girl. We enjoyed ourselves. I'm so glad that Shay came with me. But we came to Cane's. I wanted to talk to y'all some more about that single stuff, so we're gonna catch y'all on another day. Y'all may see an issue or have problems being single, but there are things that come with marriage that you better prepare yourself for. When you're trying to be married and do it right and be holy and submissive and all the things, this ain't for the weak. This week has felt like one of the longest weeks of my life, y'all. Full throttle at work. This week I actually talked to my boss and I was like, listen, I'm gonna have to go down to 3 days a week because life is lifing. I'm headed to one of my appointments, my annual appointment. I'm saying this as a reminder to my sisters. Don't forget to book your annuals yearly. Even if there are brothers on here, if you're 18, 21 and older, you need to at least be getting like annual blood work and things like that to make sure that everything is good and like all your numbers look good, so you don't have to worry about dealing with issues that could have been prevented because you did not get your yearlies and your annuals. So I'm headed to get my annual checkup, blood work and all that good stuff, and then I'm headed to Trimble, child. Today is, I would like to say, the end of a long week, but it's the start of a long weekend. We'll be driving out to New Orleans for my daughter's soccer tournament. The next 2 weeks are going to be busy, but the next 2 weekends are going to be busy. I have a really important topic that I want to talk to y'all about. I sort of hinted at it whenever Shay was here. We see a lot about singles that are waiting on God to like bring their husband, but I want to talk to you about a different aspect of marriage coming from someone who, I wouldn't necessarily say waited on God, but I just got tired of like playing games and playing around. So I like went into my single era, really found a closeness with God. But I do want to talk to y'all about that and then talk about the transition into like marriage, because it's something that is so glamorized and it's something that is, you know, wanted as it should be. You know, you should want someone that you can spend the rest of your life with, someone that is compatible, someone that believes in your dreams, someone that pushes you, someone that not only cares for you physically, mentally, and spiritually, but they provoke you to be even better. It's not like always a lovey-dovey, oh, I love you so much. Sometimes it's some friction there that provokes you to be better in areas. Marriage is work. The Bible talks about how two will become one flesh. I was talking to one of my sisters last night, and I was just telling her how the analogy came to my mind of when you're getting ready to bake a cake or make bread, or like I was thinking about my grandmother's biscuits, if y'all saw that video of her teaching Ava how to make biscuits. But I was thinking about how she had to take all the dry ingredients, the flour, the baking powder, the salt, and she had to mix it with the wet ingredients. If she just would have dropped them in the bowl, girl, wasn't nothing finna happen. That thing was not about to become one. It was not gonna make the dough needed to bake those biscuits. And it's the same with marriage. I think about, hey, maybe I'm the flour and I'm the dry ingredients, Trev is the wet ingredients. In order for us to become one, inseparable, turning into that dough, it's gonna take arm work. My grandmother and Ava was stirring that dough. Girl, it felt like 10-15 minutes. It wasn't that long, but even when I got my little stir in, it was like, girl, I got 3 stirs and then I gotta pass the spoon, because it really takes work to mix that. For marriage, for a good marriage, it really takes work, and that work is not stirring the dough in the pan or the bowl. That work is going through things and compromising and sacrificing some things that you want or that you're accustomed to in order for the other person to be comfortable, in order for the other person to feel valued and respected. And that can sound very easy, but that's not easy when you're accustomed to living your best single life. I'm down to 2 minutes, girl. Let me get out of this car. I will talk to y'all after my appointment is over. And so I went into the appointment, and as I'm doing my vitals, like I didn't check, I waited, got pulled to the back. The girl says, oh, you're not getting your wellness done today. And I was like, girl, what you talking about? Yes, I am. That's what I'm here for. And then she tells me because it's not yet the date. You have to be a year and a day after your last wellness in order for the insurance to cover it. And the front desk girl came and she was like, you know, I'm so sorry, I should have caught that. And like, she was just, you can tell that she's flustered. And I don't know if I think she's new, because I've been going to my doctor for almost 12 years and I've never seen this girl, so I think she's new, but you could just tell that she was flustered. And I told her, I was like, it is fine, like, it's okay. She was like, no, but you came here for nothing, and like, this is your second time coming. I was like, listen, it is okay. Like, and I just, in that moment, I showed her mercy. Like, I could have cut up and acted crazy, and it's like, oh, you know, y'all need to get it together. But it just reminded me how important it is to give mercy, extend mercy to people, whether we think they deserve it or whether we think they don't. When I think about the things that I have messed up on this journey, I am so grateful for God's mercy. But the same mercy that we want God to have with us in our ignorance and in our foolishness, we should extend that same mercy to other people, even if they don't ask you for it, even if they don't apologize. It's just something so freeing, y'all, about being in this place, because I haven't always been here. There were times that I would hold a grudge forever. I would go months without talking to people, or I would completely cut you out of my life because I ain't got time for foolishness. Well, if you cut everybody out of your life that makes a mistake, how will you ever grow? One thing I've learned, that there are two types of people. There are communicators and non-communicators. I have cut non-communicators out of my life before because I didn't hear I'm sorry. Well, that person hasn't yet realized, or maybe didn't have the upbringing to know how to communicate I'm sorry. It's crazy that two words could be so hard for people to say, but that's just the truth of it. Like, I'm a communicator. Me and my dad, like in our family, in my household, we talked about things. We sat down, we talk about it before we go to sleep. Everybody's not raised like that. So now, with wisdom and time, I've learned I can't expect an I'm sorry from people, but if I look at their behavior, their behavior will tell me that they're sorry. You know, I've had to tell friends sometimes, listen, I know we kind of moved past it and we didn't really address it, but for me, it's not over until we end it, right? So if you're good and I'm good, we can move on. But at the same time, we need to identify the problem, why I was hurt or offended and why you were hurt or offended, so that we can grow from there. Like, we got to grow up and have hard conversations with our family members, our friends, you know, in our marriages. We have to have hard conversations. We can lose out on really, really good, fulfilling relationships and friendships if we don't learn how to communicate and have the ability to determine what kind of communication the people that are around us that we love, what kind of communicators are they? I said all of that to say that it felt so good to have mercy on all of the staff. But if you start extending mercy, then I promise you, you're gonna find that you're more settled, you're more calm, and you made it to Trimble. Pray for me, girl. But I'm here. I got here 35 minutes early because, girl, we stretching today. Because I hopped in there thinking that I was Superwoman, didn't stretch before, didn't stretch after. My body was screaming the next 48 hours. I probably went into rhabdomyolysis. Listen, so I came early so I could stretch. So I got to jump off in a few minutes, but I did want to talk about a little bit about, and I may have to finish it later. Before I met my husband, I had been in 2 serious relationships. And long story short, of course, they didn't work out. It's like, you know, I want to be by myself. Like, I need to, like, focus on me. I was in school at that time for RN. I was like, I need to focus on myself. I got to get me together. I don't want any distraction. Really wanted to get my relationship with God, like, better and stronger. I wrote down in my prayer journal, like I would write to God, on everything I wanted my husband to be. And I started with the things that were, like, spiritual and godly, and I went on to the physical. Like, at that time, girl, if you don't ask, you ain't gonna receive, so I asked. But I told God I wanted him to be kind. I wanted him to be loving. I wanted him to be someone that was affectionate towards me in a way that was like head of household. Like, I don't know if I can make it make sense to y'all, but God knew what I was saying. Like, I wanted someone who looked out for me, like, not even just like chivalry, like opening doors and stuff, like that was good, but made me feel really feminine because I've always been like a harder woman. My dad, like, from day one, put me on game for everything. Like, I jumped off the porch. I wasn't playing with nobody. Like, get back. Somebody that made me feel like I could be soft and I didn't have to have my guard up. On the physical side, y'all, I was like, I want him to have pretty nice hands. I want him to have pretty teeth. Like, I want him to have a beautiful smile. God, I want him to have some nice hair. I want him to be brown skin. Like, I went into all of it. When I saw Lil Trev, I was like, But then I'm thinking, beware of them handsome devils. In my singleness, like, I truly enjoyed coming home and, you know, spending time with God and watching a good movie or watching a good show. At that time I was watching shows. I don't play with them reality shows and stuff now, but watching a good show, just being in my house by myself, I enjoyed that. But sometimes it did get lonely. I wanted to talk about the transition from your college girl, single life, you meet this guy, he's amazing, y'all end up dating, to boom, he proposes, now y'all getting married. And let me just say this, I was never the girl that played with Barbies and Barbie had a family and Barbie had all kind of kids, and Barbie, I wasn't that Barbie. My Barbie had the newest what was that? The newest little Barbie Corvette. I wanted to get a different Corvette every other week. My Barbie was traveling, and listen, that was my mentality. I did not want to get married young. I did not want to have kids young. I wanted to become successful, get my career. I wanted to travel the world, and I wanted to do that in my 20s, and then maybe in my 30s meet somebody, and then mid 30s we would get married, mid to late 30s I would have my first child. Like, that's how my plan was. Girl, Trev then came in here and like shattered all the plans, because the thing about it is I ain't never met a man like Trevor. My story and my expectation of what my life would be was totally different from most girls that are like, I want to get married, I want to get my career, but I want to be married, have kids early. Girl, I was trying to be 35 plus, having my first child. We ended up getting married young. I had Ava at, I think, 23, and then Denham again at 18 months later I had Denham. And it was a beautiful thing. All my prayers was answered. This man literally walked off the pages of my diary and my request to God. Listen to me. He was more than I could have ever asked for. The way Trev loves and cares for people that he doesn't even know. There was a time we went to Walmart, and this is what made it so, sealed it for me. We went to Walmart and I got some soap or some lotion or something, and we were walking to go check out. We had a few other things, and I was like, oh, you know, I don't need the soap. And I just kind of threw it by the chips or whatever. And this man goes and he grabs it, and he was like, I'm gonna be right back. I was like, what you doing? Where you going? He was like, well, I'm gonna go put it up, you know, put it back where we got it from, because I don't want nobody to have to get home a little bit later, even if it's a few minutes, to get home later to their family, because we put it right here and their job is to make sure that this area is clean. Excuse me, what? I'll marry you right now. You know, the heart that this man has. When I stand before God, I will not have an excuse to lack in any area of compassion and mercy and patience, because God is going to say, I literally gave you the prime example. The transition from that season, that singleness to married to now mother, there were times that I felt like I was mourning my old life. I know other people have experienced this because I've talked about it before on my Instagram, and it's not that you mourn it like you want it back, but that the reality of this part of my life is gone, and it's gone forever. I will never come home and I can just spend the rest of the day not cooking, not cleaning, not doing anything that I don't want to do. Yes, I take care of myself. Yes, I have me time. Yes, I go to Trimble and Pilates, but ultimately I'm a mother and I am a wife. And there are duties when we're doing this thing biblically that you are expected to kind of do. Now, Trev and I are a really good team. He'll wash the dishes, I'll take out the trash. Girl, we make it work. Life changed, and that part of my life in a sense died. My encouragement to my sisters that are like around me that I like talk to often, I know that you long for a family, and you long for children, and you long for the picture perfect Instagram post of what the family looks like, and you see people going on vacation and all these things, and I know you want that. It's okay to want it. Just know that when this season is gone, it is gone. If you don't know how to pray for yourself, how much more do you think it's gonna take for you to pray for your family and your children? And if your husband is having an off day, or if your husband is lacking spiritually, maybe he ain't been reading his Bible or praying like he should, you gotta be the one to go in there before God. God, I need you to draw my husband. I need you to do this for my husband. But if you haven't established your own prayer life, there's no way that you're gonna be able to put the pressure and the weight of a family on your spiritual back to be the anchor that helps to keep everybody together. Y'all have gotta make sure that you are fully optimizing the season of singleness that you're in, and that you're not just sitting back like, oh, I can't wait to meet somebody, I can't wait to get married. Once that season is gone, it is gone forever. I'm gonna be back.
Hey, I had 100 today. Huh? She got 100 classes. Oh, I can watch it. Yeah, I'll be watching it too.
sleep on y'all yesterday because I was so tired. We're on the road traveling with Ava Soccer. I would like to get a grande matcha, brown sugar syrup, and sweet cream cold foam with oat milk.
The world can wait. I need to stay a little longer in your presence.
Alright, just finished Pity Pat and coffee. Now we're about to head to Ava's game, and after the game we're gonna get back on the road.
The world can wait.
Y'all, it has been a busy weekend, girl. Like, what? We just been running so much with soccer that, girl, I ain't had time to breathe. So the thing that I was talking about was appreciating your season of singleness. We always, in a sense, kind of want what we don't have. Like, let me speak for me because I can't speak for y'all. So when I have hair extensions, girl, I want my braids. Like, I need my bohemian braids. I'm trying to get my bohemian goddess look on. But when I have those bohemian braids, I'm like, girl, I need my bundles. I find that you always kind of want what you don't have. And for my single sisters, just being so grateful and so appreciative of you being able to care for yourself when you want, you've been able to do your spa days when you want, you've been able to do your hair and your nails when you want. And granted, I get it, right? Like, okay, you may be over these things, like it just doesn't seem like priority. But I'm telling you, when you don't have the freedom to do them at your leisure, let me speak for myself. There was sometimes I mourned not being able to come home and do nothing, not being able to come home and eat cereal and call it a day, not being able to come home and sit in quiet, I mean total silence, and just rest in my thoughts, not being able to just even up and take a trip when I wanted. Like, it's not that you just can't do them, but you can't do them at your leisure because your life is no longer just about you. It's about you and your spouse, or you and your spouse and your children. Now you are the one that runs the daily operations. That don't ever end. And the good thing about it is, I'm speaking for me, is that I have a phenomenal husband. Y'all, listen to me. This man, there are no gender roles in our home. We still believe in the Bible-based principles, right? So I'm still the one that's going to be over the children for the most part, like doing their homework and all those things. But when he's home, that man is like the epitome of the GOAT. He will wash the dishes. He will fold the clothes. Trev will do whatever is necessary to make sure that the house is running, to make sure that I'm good. But before Trev and I met, I had made up in my mind that I was done dating. I wrote my letter to God, and in that time, I started praying more. I started journaling more. And I just really found like a peace in me being by myself. Was it hard sometimes? Absolutely, because I mean, at that time I wasn't saved, but you crave like just the intimacy with someone, like somebody being there. And I don't mean like physical intimacy. I just mean like you being there with someone, watching a movie with somebody. I understand naturally that there is a longing sometimes to not be alone. And even when you have exposed yourself to physical intimacy, that's a whole nother trial. When you want to become abstinent, that's a whole nother battle or struggle. But it is possible with God. Like I'm telling y'all, the Bible talks about how you have not because you ask not. If you have to pray for strength every second of the day to hold yourself for marriage, God will give you strength every second of every day. Sometimes it will feel like your flesh is raging to be touched. I'm telling y'all, I've been there before. I know that y'all can do it if y'all have really come into knowing God and really made up your mind in this season to be better and get your relationship right with God. And that is what my counsel is to you. Allow yourself to establish a prayer life, y'all. And I'm not talking about, God, thank you for waking me up this morning. Okay, I'm going on by my day. No, praying fervently. You know what else will change your perspective? When you start going to God in prayer and you start praying and thanking him for the things that he's done. God, as a single woman, I thank you that I am able to take care of myself. I thank you, God, that even though I may not have an abundance of all material things, I still have my strength. I still have my good health. God, I still have a sound mind. God, I have a vehicle to get me to and from a job. You may hate the job, but God, even if I hate my job, you've given me a way to provide for myself, God. And I'm telling you, when you go into prayer like that, it will shift your whole mindset. Even in marriage and even in having like all the things, I have fallen victim to comparison, you know? So when I do that and I feel like, man, I'm not where I'm supposed to be, I need to have this for retirement, this got to be done, and I start overwhelming myself in my thoughts, I'll be like, you know what, let me pull back. God, I thank you that I have a home to come to. I thank you that I have and at the time I had the Jeep, y'all, the Jeep was barely making it, but I don't care. I was like, I thank you for my Jeep that gets me to and from work, a job that helps me to give my children a good education. I thank you for my husband's job. And I begin to just thank him for all the good things instead of just complaining about what I don't have. Single sisters, like, y'all can do it, man. And God knows what it is that we desire. He ain't just withholding it from you, but make sure in this season that you're allowing him to prepare you to be that woman of God, that virtuous woman, that when your children or your husband come to you for counsel, that they're able to get something from the well of water that God has put down in your belly because you took advantage of the time of you being single. Even with Trev being the epitome of a man, that man walked right off the journal that I wrote to God. You hear me? That becoming one process wasn't easy. That becoming a submissive wife was not easy. Listen, and it wasn't that I didn't want to submit to him. I didn't know how to submit to him without feeling like I ain't nobody finna walk over me. I ain't finna be nobody's slave. I am nobody's servant. That process of becoming one and being a submissive wife, y'all, that was not easy. That is not for the weak. If you want to be married and be married right and be married and have a holy marriage, then there is a lot of dying out that you gonna have to do. Do you hear me? I need y'all to come close and hear this. Girl, you can't, if you trying to please God and you want to be married, listen to me. You better enjoy your singleness if you ain't ready to die out, girl. There were times that Trev would want me to do things, and because I was so prideful, I'm like, bro, I'm not doing that. You do that yourself. Like, what is wrong with you? But this man do any and everything for me. But in my mind, because I'm accustomed to the men in the world, I'm like, I'm not gonna let my standard down, and nobody is gonna walk over me. Nobody is gonna play me. I was the kind of person that, I don't care, we was in a relationship for 15 years. If I find out you cheated on me or you did something that was like borderline, I'm out. But girl, I was deucing. I ain't got time for foolishness. I was just in my mind, I already had an idea of what men were like. My dad prepared me for a worldly man. He see him acting this way, get out. If he do this, get out. Not taking money from a man. Don't let a man do nothing for you. Like, my daddy saved me from worldly men. Do you hear me? When I came into holiness and now me and Trev have gotten married, I still had the mindset that was given to me by my dad to prepare me for worldly men. Coming into God, I still had that boundary around my mind. It was making me not submit to my now godly husband. It was making me be prideful and rebellious against my godly husband. But only the word of God could have made me a submissive, virtuous, holy woman of God. And now I've come into this marriage and I got to learn holiness. And I also have to now learn how to submit to be a virtuous woman. That's a lot. While y'all are single, y'all could be learning how to be a virtuous woman. Y'all could be learning how to not be prideful, because you already over there getting stuff together. You already lining it up. You already got your prayer life, your fasting life. You learning how to submit to the forward boss on your job, because the Bible says to obey them that have rule over you. Learning to even take wrong when you're right, suffering yourself to be defrauded. You could be doing all that, practicing all these things. So when you come into a godly, virtuous, holy marriage, you gonna shine as a virtuous woman of God. I wanted to submit to this man, and it was something warring in me that wouldn't let me do it. And I just was getting so frustrated with myself. Like, why can't you just submit? Like, why can't you? And by submit, I don't mean you're the doormat. No, submit just means to have reverence for, to honor. And you know, if he has a request, then you meet the request, girl, because he's doing everything for you. But submit is not just meaning you gonna get walked over, because just as God requires the woman to submit, it tells the man that you gotta love your wife even like you love your own self, and even as Christ loved the church. Christ died for the church. That means that man's supposed to love you so much, he'll put his life on the line for you. And I broke down and was crying, and I was talking to my friend about how I really wanted to do it, but I don't know, I was having such a hard time with it. God did it. Every little thing he told me, like even when it came to like finances, like I was successful. I was an RN. And Trev had a good job. And I remember God was like, don't make a purchase until you ask your husband. And I'm thinking, excuse me, what? Excuse me, what, God? Don't make a purchase. Don't buy a bubble gum. Don't buy a t-shirt. Don't buy an apple until you ask this man. I remember being in Target. I was like, oh my God, this shirt is so cute. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get this. I threw it in a basket. God was like, did you ask your husband? For a $7 shirt. For a $7 shirt. Okay. And I didn't tell Trev that God told me I had to ask him, but it was so hard at first. That thing would burn in my chest, and I'd be like, oh, I just can't stand it. But I had to let that part of me die. So we was there for a long time, girl. Don't let this video think that we was just there for a week or 2 weeks. We was there for like a year. And it went from just buying clothes to, before you make any decision, you need to go and ask your husband. And what God was doing was teaching me how to be a submissive wife. Y'all, now I love this man so much. I don't want to make a decision without Trev. I want to know his opinion about everything. And let me tell you, my husband ain't no pushover. He's just a laid back man. And when he was serious about something, it was like, this is what it's going to be, and this is what it is. And I'm like, oh, yes, sir. He's very authoritative when he wants to be and when he cares about something. But other than that, Trev just like, I'm chilling. Let's do whatever y'all want to do. You and the kids. I done gave it to him, baby. I want to live the soft life. My husband got it. Let me check with my husband. Call my husband. This is my husband's contact. In your obedience, God knows that it's more peace on the other side of your obedience. When he's trying to work something out of you, it's not just to do it. It's because, girl, I'm trying to make life better for you. So if you ain't where you need to be, you're going to make it difficult for that man. You're going to make his life chaotic. I know one point of the Bible talks about how it's better for a man to be on the rooftop than in a house with a woman that's going crazy and arguing and fussing and making it chaotic. It's better for the man to be on the rooftop, girl. He don't even want to be in the house with you. Y'all can take advantage of this time and allow God to make you holy and virtuous and really get all the kinks out of you now, so that when you are blended with this man, it's an easy process. You ain't fighting about why the toilet tissue one way and the other. You ain't, arguing and getting frustrated with little things because it's not what you're accustomed to. God can truly get you ready. And people don't want to hear single advice from me, because it looks like, oh, you got the marriage, you have the family, you have the car, you have the house. But where y'all think I came from? What y'all think I started with? I started with nothing, girl. I was in an apartment by myself. Sis got some experience with being single and being lonely. And find hobbies, find things that you like to do, because I wish right now that I had all the time in the world for pottery. Girl, I ain't got time to be going over there playing with no pottery. I got soccer, I have football, I have cheerleading practice. On Friday, the kids get out at 12 o'clock. My only day off. They get off at 12 o'clock. And then, like this weekend, we have soccer tournament where we're traveling. That's for the next 3 weekends. I love my life. I love my children. I thank God that we're privileged to have healthy children who we can travel with. But it's not always easy, girl. Girl, I'd be overwhelmed sometimes. If I didn't have a prayer life, I would crumble like dust. I'd have anxiety and all kind of stuff, I'm sure. My plate is always full. Yes, this is a beautiful thing. I have a beautiful family and I'm grateful for it. But as the mother, as the wife, there's a lot of requirement on you that's not required when you are a single woman. Enjoy that season. There were times and seasons for me that I mourned being a single woman. Not that I didn't want my husband. Not that I didn't want my children, but there were things about my singleness that I didn't have a care in the world. So on the days that I felt super overwhelmed, I'm like, man, if I could have just 10 minutes of silence. Take another look at your singleness and all the freedom that you have and how you only have to worry for yourself right now. You may be praying to be married and have the family, and when that comes, you'll never ever get that season back. So I hope that perspective makes you look at your singleness a little bit different. Look at the good things about your singleness. Don't let social media and the love pages and all the pictures and the trips of all the married people and their family, don't let those things rush you. It's just like a cake, baby. If it's in the oven, don't take yourself out of that oven. Don't take yourself and want to be out of that singleness so bad, and then when you come out, the cake is half done. Let God do what he's doing while you are in your singleness. Let that cake cook in there, so when God brings that cake out and he brings you out of your singleness, you're going to be a well done cake that he can present to a virtuous, holy husband. Just getting off the road, finally made it home. If you are in the season where you are struggling with your singleness, you haven't learned how to embrace that and how to be comfortable with that, please, y'all, do me a favor. This is your big sister talking to y'all. Unsubscribe from all these love pages. Stop watching all these love sitcoms and these love shows, and man, stop feeding yourself all this love stuff, because if you're struggling with it, that is only gonna make it harder for you to find the good about your singleness. Because of the state that it leaves you in, this is just not the season or the time for you to be watching it. People hugged all up. Be careful what you're watching on Netflix, the different shows and movies. Like, girl, we know you love, but right now you don't need to be watching people falling in love, kissing and touching all over each other, but then you and your own self want to practice abstinence. You want to wait on the Lord. Girl, get yourself connected with some strong spiritual women that can give you advice and counsel and strengthen you as you walk this season out. You're going to need a prayer life when you're single, and you're going to need a prayer life when you're married. Sometimes I've had to pray against myself. Have y'all ever prayed against what you desire? I pray against what I desire sometimes. God, if it's not in your will, help my heart to align with your will. I'm so grateful that things that I prayed or begged and pleaded for, girl, I'm so grateful that God wasn't listening to me and giving me what it was I was asking for, because he knew Trevorance was waiting on me. Most of the time, if I didn't get what I was asking for, something better came. So we can't want something or someone or a relationship or success or whatever. We can't want it so bad that we want it even if it's outside of God's will. But if you focus on marriage, you will never see the good that can truly result in your single season. I love y'all, and I will see y'all. I'm going to start saying I'm going to see y'all Monday, girl, because the video haven't dropped on a Sunday yet. It's always on a Monday, so just make sure y'all hit the notifications so that when I do post, girl, that you will get the notifications. Bye, y'all.